Hello, my friends. I am back from the dead. I was bored, so I decided to do a random stream. I'm going to uh share the stream copy and put this stream in here. What should I mind? See if anyone joins. I got a couple people in the stream chat. That's cool. Well, can people talk in chat? Give me something to do. I don't really know what to do. I know the Mando finale is coming out tomorrow. We can talk about that. I've been watching it, so if you would like to talk about it, we can. I guess not. Alex has joined. Hello, Alex. What's up, man? Future Catholic, isn't that right? Just kidding. I'm sure you haven't been watching Mando because I know you don't really hear about the Disney stuff. To degree, I don't either, but it's going good. It's going good. Nothing's really been that different in my life. Everything's the same. It's weird. Graduation's going to be in a few weeks, so that's kind of exciting. Well, sort of. I say sort of because Yick's nothing like him. They gave him the character of a typical Imperial, and he's not a typical Imperial. So that's pretty disappointing. That's what happened. Um, and anyone who knows the Thrawn Trilogy, the original Thrawn books, and has looked into the history of those books, Thrawn and Pelion were both inspired by Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. So, college plan. What's up, Scott? I'm going to community college for 2 years, get my basics out the way. I got approved for financial aid benefits. I got over $7,000. So, getting a free ride through community college. And then after that, I'm going to go to a university. I haven't picked which one yet. I'm down to two, but I don't know. I'm still looking at that. I got 2 years to decide, though. Not yet. I've been reading other things. School has been pretty intense at the moment, so I am liking it so far, though. It is pretty interesting. The Catholic University of Dallas, and then UT Arlington. Hello. Oh,
Hey,
I don't know if I want that picture on my stream.
It's friendly.
It's friendly.
Yeah. It's like it's family friendly. Everything's covered up.
Um, I I don't know, bro. I may remove you.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can change it.
I
Since
don't
you're
want
gonna,
YouTube taking my stuff down.
since you're gonna be so insecure about it, hold on.
I'm not insecure. I
I'll be
ultimately
I'll be back. Hold on.
wow. I just don't want to be responsible for anything. Film is ideal, but I will probably study English and creative writing as well. Uh, there's worse pictures in the Star Wars Visions art book. Fair enough. Lopsided. Hello, lopsided.
Hey.
And now he has no profile picture.
Yeah, I was gonna choose something else. You're gonna be like, "Oh, I don't know about that, Suave. I don't know if you can have that in the stream." That's gonna be you.
Look, if YouTube wasn't that mean, I wouldn't care.
Oh God, what's YouTube gonna say?
They'll see, they'll say a lot.
Hey, dog, can you hear me?
That was not a British accent. That was more like a Boston accent, which that wasn't a
No, can
Boston
you hear me?
accent. Yeah,
All right, cool. I'm sitting here
can you hear
playing Bounty
me?
Hunter. Yeah, I can hear you.
I
I'm sitting here playing Bounty Hunter. I'm on the Malistar levels.
that's great.
So you wanted to talk about Mandalorian?
Well, I mean that's kind of the biggest thing going on in Star Wars right now, so I guess so.
So here's the thing. I've not actually like watched Mandalorian season 3. Well, I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I said, "No, I'm better than this," and then I left.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the season, as with all Disney Star Wars products, not all, but a lot of them, there's a lot of good like ingredients in it, but they're just used horribly. So, and at the beginning, I kind of figured, oh, this is going to be kind of like a civil war between Bo-Katan and Din. Nope. Bo-Katan gets the Mythosaur and the Darksaber and leadership of Mandalorian. Din Djarin's kind of like his sidekick or her sidekick.
Yeah,
So
everybody thought he was going to stop bounty hunting and he was going to find his true potential doing that. And then
yeah,
Bo-Katan got that.
and what's worse is this is just kind of the same story that Rebels did, and that's kind of the thing that something I've you know observed with all the Mandalorian stuff in the new canon. It's just the same story over and over again. Hey, we got to retake Mandalore. They retake it, then they lose again. Then they try to retake Mandalore, then they lose again. Then they have to retake it again. It's the same story. I mean, there's no originality in it.
Yeah, well, it just sounds like they're just repeating Luke's like hero's journey, but they're not being creative enough with it. When it comes to, I feel like some of these characters, but also like as much as I hate to say this, it's just kind of true at this point. Dave Filoni's kind of like a one-trick pony. Like he doesn't have much scope as a storyteller.
Yeah,
That's
he
just
does.
kind of obvious.
And I
So
think people are realizing that finally. He's not what he's all cracked up to be.
yeah, and it's a shame because he had so much potential. I think he had the potential to be better than George as a storyteller, but that just never happened.
Well, I mean, I remember the Yaddle episode in Tales of the Clone Wars,
Yeah,
and or, you know what I mean. I don't call
Hmm.
it Tales of the Jedi.
yeah,
Anyway, but that episode showed what kind of potential he actually has as a writer.
yeah. Like for real. Like
And
I
then
think other than
he,
like Yaddle not going to get help, other than that, like yeah, it's a good episode.
yeah, I mean, it's probably my favorite thing he's ever done, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of controversial, I guess. But at the very least, it's the best thing he's done in the Disney canon. So it's just, and then you'll have the Ahsoka episodes in the very same series. So it's like this guy, and unfortunately, his bad outweighs the good. He has more bad stuff than in my opinion, than good stuff. I mean, the Bad
Mm.
Batch was atrocious. Resistance was so boring I couldn't even watch it, or cared enough about it. The hell else is it? His Mandalorian season 1 episode was terrible. His Mandalorian season 2 episode was terrible.
Didn't he direct the first episode in the first episode?
No, Favreau did, but he had an episode where he wrote it. It was the one with was it Toro Calican? That
I don't think Favreau's directed any of the episodes for Mandalorian.
well, he's written most of them. Well, I don't know the director, but I know Filoni
Mm.
wrote that episode, the Toro Calican one.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
it's full of just fan service.
Mm-hmm.
It's something he has a bad. I mean, it was so bad that episode he thought it'd be cool. Let's seat Den and Toro right where Han and Greedo sat, so fans can be like, "Hey, I remember that." Hey, it was just ridiculous. It was so dumb. Um, he sucks. He's not a good. He can be a good storyteller, but he's lazy. I think that's ultimately what it boils down to. He's
That
lazy.
that I feel like him and John are lazy, and it's just a shame.
Oh,
They're
John.
both sitting here like they're working on Star Wars, you know.
I think Filoni is rubbing off on John. I think that's what's going on. Because John, I mean, season 1 of Mando was pretty good. I mean, he set up a lot of good stuff in that season. A lot of good characters. Season 2 is just, you can tell Filoni had a lot more influence. This season, kind of a mix of both. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. And in season 3, in my mind, started off good. The first episode I thought was good. The second episode, there was a mythosaur at the end. I was like, okay, this is going somewhere nice. And then it just tanked from there. So, and now we're at the final episode, and I really don't understand what the point was. The mythosaur has been brought back yet. It hasn't come back yet at all. It's been mentioned. And the only thing that's really done is Bo-Katan got a shoulder plate with a mythosaur symbol on it. Whippy, like all Mandalorians don't have that at this point. I don't know. It's probably going to have, because I think that the rumor is the finale is going to be titled The Mythosaur. And I hope so. I hope it actually has something to do with the plot, but I don't know. And I don't even understand why they made it so hard, like why it was such a big deal taking back Mandalore. The planet's freaking abandoned. Like, how is it hard to take it back? Like, how is it that big a deal? It's freaking abandoned. There's no one there. I mean, there's your stragglers, and then there's some survivors, but there's
Those
no
creatures, those creatures from what is it? From Time Machine are just below the surface, right?
yeah. It's just there's no one there, and that's even more to my point. Like, why would you want to take that world? There's nobody there, and it's in shambles now. So
Well, I think they can probably rebuild it. The planet means a lot to their culture. I could see that. I could. There's potential to take it back. I could see why, but I mean, I don't know. I just with Mandalorian for me, I forgot why I lost interest. I think I just wasn't impressed. Everything looks like it's filmed in the the volume. So what I've noticed about the
yes,
volume is that there's like no running. Nobody runs anywhere because it's all like 15 feet wide. So
yeah,
there's like no. So it feels like there's no urgency to anything. Like there's no stakes. Like nobody's like, oh shit, I gotta do something. Nobody's like, I gotta hurry. Like there's no ticking clock. It feels like unless they're like in a hallway set, like they were for that one episode in season 1. But like other than or season 2, I don't know. Anyway, uh, they blend together for me. But other than that, yeah, that's part of my problem. And the pacing is just fucked up too. Sorry, do you not want me cussing on here? I forgot.
I don't even care.
Okay, but the pacing's all messed up, and that's just it feels like that to me. Okay, I'm dying. So I was having prop problems, but honestly, I just kind of forgot them. It's not like I'm paid to like review things, but um, I just think the whole endeavor was a disappointment, and not to mention, I think the whole thing was a giant cock tease, to put it bluntly, because I thought we were going to be getting something substantial and significant with this show. I thought it was going to lead to things, and if not lead to things significant, then
It's leading to something, all right. We both know what it is.
what's it leading to?
Heir to the Empire. That's the whole point of this.
No, 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 no. Dave said that this doesn't tie into season three. Like it's just literally going to be its own thing.
What's
That's
not
what.
going to tie into season 3? Heir to the Empire?
Yeah, no, 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 not Heir of the Empire, the Ahsoka show.
I don't know, man. With Pelion and freaking having Pelion and Gideon having a whole conversation about Thrawn, I don't know, man.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what Dave said. Dave said it's not going to really tie
Dave,
into season three.
I don't know. We'll see.
Um, but that's basically like what I've been kind of like waiting for. You know, is like okay, let's explore this time period that was supposed to be happening, and because I thought the Mandalorian was a. I feel like this should have happened already. Like the Thrawn thing should have happened. That's what I feel like. But what are we now? Like we're still like what 6 years post Jedi? I guess that'd be kind of it.
Yeah.
Um, I guess
And
it's
then,
just
and then
this.
how they treated Pelion. I mean, I'm never going to get over that. I mean,
What happened to? Oh, what happened to Pelion?
he I mean, he looks like Pelion, but his character is like that of a typical Imperial, which that's not at all who he is. I mean, you've read the books, you know how he is. He's humble, he's quiet, he's kind of progressive in his, as an Imperial. He's but he's not
Well, like
arrogant.
what was he
He's
saying?
not the dick. It's hard to explain. It's just his tone of voice and kind of some of the things he said. He was your typical arrogant Imperial who wanted to bring the Empire back to its former glory and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of what he felt like. You can look up the scene on YouTube, but it was just awful. And that's the first thing I thought when I saw after that season ended or the scene ended with Gideon and Pelion was like he just seems like a normal Imperial. Like it.
Well,
Okay, let's just say this: if you never knew who Pelion was, you would have just thought, oh, he's just an Imperial officer. That's a part of this group. So you wouldn't think he was anyone special. You know. Now in the books, when we read the Thrawn Trilogy, not only did we think Thrawn was special, Pelion was special too, because of how different he is. He didn't really care that Thrawn was an alien. And he all he wanted was to learn from Thrawn. He didn't want to take Thrawn's position. He wanted to learn from Thrawn. He was your Watson, and Thrawn was your Sherlock Holmes. That's how that worked. But he's not at all like that in The Mandalorian. He's your typical Imperial.
I'm not seeing the scene. I give him time though.
Is
Uh,
CGI Tuesday reference? Yes. Yeah, you got it right. Got it right. TGI Tuesday, otherwise known as regular show. That's what the show is called, which is one of my favorite cartoons, if not my favorite.
uh, so Lance,
So what?
let's get to the real topics.
Oh gosh, if it's about Shakti, I don't want to hear it.
No, no, no. The real topic. What
What?
did you read again over your Lent?
Um,
Your pocket Lent. How much how much time did you read over your pocket Lent?
to be honest, not a lot, but I was reading other stuff too.
Okay,
So
what are you reading?
look, I finished Outbound Flight. I'm going through the siege right now, and then But what I did more than anything was collect EU. I didn't really read a whole lot of it. I was collecting it, and I collected most of the legacy trade paperbacks. I have, I think, up to 9, and I just ordered, I think, 8 because I got some of them out of order. I got the 8th trade paperback, and then I'm offering someone. I'm trying to make a deal with someone for the 6th trade paperback, which is the Vector one. But I have most of them. The only ones I haven't ordered yet are volumes 10 and 11. Um, uh, so I'm confused. Why exactly do you want to see Pelion as he is in the EU? He's supposed to be a different character. Well, if they're gonna take him from the EU, which they shouldn't do in the first place, but they're going to at least try to stay true to his character. Um, I would rather him if he was if his name was, I don't know, John Phillips or something. I don't care what his character is like, but the fact that he's supposed to be Pelion, but he's given different character traits and everything. That's what I don't like. It's not that I want to see him as he is in the EU, but if they're going to bring him into the new canon, at least make him like the EU. But they didn't. So
I was just thinking something, kind of back on the topic of the Mandalorian. You want to know? You want to know my take on what I think of Bo-Katan becoming like basically the main character of the show? My thought is, if you're like, if you like, because they clearly don't care about Din. They've not fleshed him out as a character. They don't have any interest to. If all you're gonna do is just, if you're not gonna do anything with him, I'm okay with them making Bo-Katan like the main character, because I feel like she's more interesting.
Well, yeah, she is. I agree with that for sure. But I think instead of doing that, I think Din Djarin is interesting. I do. Instead of, and same with his relationship with Grogu, I think they're both interesting. I think they both work well.
What
But
makes him interesting?
I don't know. I just like them. I think they have an interesting dynamic.
I'm not trying to interrogate you. I'm just curious. What do you find interesting
I
about
think what I like about them is the fact that they're both from completely different cultures and backgrounds, yet they have a very similar story. They were both orphans. They were both saved by someone, and they kind of came together, and Din kind of adopted him. I just think it's a cool dynamic, and
them?
I think they were. I think Din had a potential to be one of the best Star Wars characters, but he got sidelined, and that's what I hate. I wish they had made Din Djarin as interesting as Bo-Katan. That's what I wish.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I feel the same way. But yeah, you've heard what I said. At least, I mean, at least they're doing something, but they're not doing anything. What's your take on Lizzo and Jack Black? What'd you think about that?
Look, to be honest, I don't know who Lizzo is. I
Hmm.
only found out about who she was after the episode, but I thought it
Yeah.
was hilarious seeing Jack because I love Jack Black. I thought it was hilarious seeing him in Star Wars. I know Brandon didn't really care for it, but I thought it was freaking hilarious. I think I liked that episode a bit more than most people because of Jack Black in it. But I like Jack Black, so it was cool seeing him in Star Wars.
All right.
So I didn't mind it. I think that was the least of that episode's problems. I think the most problematic thing in it is Bo-Katan has the dark saber, and she got it back. She got it back from the dumbest way possible because Din Djarin got he. I just think the whole rule that in order to get the dark saber, you had to defeat the person with it is so ridiculous. And you would think Bo-Katan would think the same thing too, because that very same rule is why Maul came into power. And Bo-Katan herself, she's broken tradition numerous times. So why would she want to keep that tradition in place? Why does her followers view this? Why do they believe in that tradition? So I think what
Uh,
would have been cool is maybe when she got the dark saber, she changed the tradition, and no longer. I mean, I don't understand it.
What it sounds like to me is obviously she's a hypocrite. Everybody has said that.
Right.
I've talked to Sheev about this. What we have both come to the conclusion to is that we don't think Dave and John realize that she's a hypocrite. That's
I
what we
know.
think.
That's why they keep doing. That's why they keep writing her like this because they don't. They don't know. They
And
don't
that's
know.
that, and they could lean on that. That they could lean on her being a hypocrite. That would be hypothetically interesting, but they're not
Yeah.
doing that. And so it's just kind of odd. It's like I mean I feel that way because like think about it. Den has to sit down with her in a scene, and he's like, "Hey, bitch, what's going on? Like what what do you why are you not following your traditions?" And
Right.
maybe she reveals something along the lines of, "I originally wanted to follow tradition, but I then realized over time that maybe the tradition wasn't the best. Maybe I found more interest in people.
Yeah.
I find following people more interesting. I like Vizsla. I saw a unique strength and passion in him that I'd not seen in anybody else. Sure, his methods were immoral, but they were on a path to success. I could truly see it, and Maul took that away. And so my job was to live up to him, not our tradition." And then, and then Dan would be like, "Well, then, why are you so interested in tradition of the original Mandalore if you're more interested in what Vizsla's journey was?" And then she has to sit there and think about that for a second. Were you just truly dedicated to this man, or the vision itself, or acting out of spite of your lineage? You know, and then she has to sit there and think about that. But we don't get that, and we're not getting that because that'd be too boring, apparently.
And I also remember in Book of Boba Fett, I mean, Din Djarin was talking with the armor about Bo-Katan and the fact that she had the dark saber and Gideon didn't want it and then he won it. And the armor's like, Bo-Katan didn't even win that legitimately. She did not get the dark saber legitimately. The armor mentions that, and the way she sounded was the armor kind of loathed Bo-Katan. Well, not in this season. In this, when Bo-Katan meets the armor's like, "Welcome home."
You know what
And
my buddy told me a year ago?
what?
I worked at the comic book shop. I know Theory has spread this interesting theory around Star Wars theory. He's talked about this, but my buddy told me this a year ago, and he told me that the armorer could be Rook, who is
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah. That would make sense why she why she hates Bo-Katan so much, because she wasn't she. I know I know Bo-Katan and her crew of Mandalorians, however many of them are left, are called Mandalorian loyalists, but they weren't really. They were more like Paz Vizsla loyalists. Uh, the true person who won the dark saber was Maul, and they technically didn't they technically follow Palpatine, because I know what's his name from Rebels,
Gar
uh,
Saxon.
Gar Saxon. Yeah, he started following the Emperor with his
Right.
special elite commando uh, like brigade or whatever. And so I guess that was them being truly loyal. Now they should technically be following Luke, or like, well, I guess it'd be Vader, but then I guess his lineage would pass to Luke, so they technically should be following Luke.
Yeah.
Man, that'd be kind of cool. Luke's got some Mandalorians on his side, working for the Republic. He's like, hey, why don't you guys like stop being weirdos on this planet and just come work for the Republic? And then Han's like, I don't know about this, kid. And he's like, Han, you call me kid one more time, like I'm gonna get mad. It's like
Yeah.
I saved you from like being frozen in carbonite. and then
He
Leia's like,
probably
if you call him
Scott.
kid again, I'm not having sex with you tonight. And Han's like, okay, whatever.
Scott. She probably thinks she's probably like, this is what everybody is raving over. When she knows that meant the show is just terrible compared to what she wrote.
No.
So Karen Travis. Look at the screen.
Oh, sorry, I'm doing this on my phone. What does this
Scott
say?
asked. I wonder,
I wonder
Scott
what
asked.
Karen
I wonder,
Travis thinks
yeah,
about the Mandalorian. Bro, she's like busy writing like her spy thriller futuristic novels. I don't think she cares.
probably not. Yeah, she probably don't even know what it is.
I she's like a military brat. Her father and her grandfather were in the military, and
Yeah.
she's so fascinated about military things like that. I feel like she's Star Wars was a passion at one point, but she hated Star Wars way before the buyout. I mean, well, she turned her back on Star Wars before the buyout, so I don't think she really cares.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah,
Uh,
what
I'm
was the
gonna go
whole thing?
back
What
to
was,
this.
it was George that she disagreed with, right? That George and her didn't get along or something.
Georgia Filoni. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't even them. Maybe it was just the fact that they weren't staying in continuity with their stuff, and they were just overriding it and kind of making her work useless. So
Well,
I
I
don't know. It's a
heard
story. I don't care.
because yeah, because she said when she was working off of at least this is what my friend said when she was first started writing, those commando novels. She said that she was working off of the certain groundwork that George had laid about there being only a certain number of clones that were produced at first, and
Yeah.
then um, TCW comes out. George sanctions that, and they basically say, "Yeah, this last novel that you've just submitted to us, you've got to like rewrite like a third or 2/3 of it." And she's like, "What?" And then, of course, she was writing her Boba Fett novel, and they were doing all that with Boba's backstory that was probably going to interfere with that. And she was probably, basing a lot of it off of the Scholastic Boba Fett novels, so
Hmm.
the kids' books, and so she probably was like, this ain't worth it." Not to mention, wasn't she also like really mad at like fans on forums and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, she called them names. That's kind of based. I like that.
Well, I wanted to respond to this comment by Scott. I kind of like that he being Pelion. He's different. Not that I watched it. The reason why I don't like it is because the whole reason why people like Pelion is because of the books. It's because of the character he was originally given, and um, when you bring that into the new canon, you're bringing in the character that we remember, right? So when you see that character change, it's like, what was the point then? It's like, what is the point of them bringing EU characters into the Disney canon if they're just going to change everything about them? Now it's no longer the same character. They did that with Thrawn. They did it also with Dirge. They did it with Dirge. Dirge is so different. He's alive during the Imperial era. We all know that's not how it was in the EU. Not to
Yeah, he
mention,
was actually. Titus talks about that. Remember?
okay, but that was he may have been around during the Imperial era, but the official story is he died during the Clone Wars. So yeah. Anyway, beyond that,
They've like
probably dead by the
not
time of the
they
Empire.
they've been inconsistent with Dirge before, because like that's one of the things about the micro series I don't like is that Obi-Wan and Dirge and Anakin, they'd all met
Yeah.
before that encounter in the micro series, and Dirge is just completely acting out of character. It's weird because like in the Republic comics, dude just
Oh yeah.
never shuts up.
Yeah. I know.
It's funny.
But plus, he's powered down a lot in the new canon because there's no Jedi around. He was only created to fight Jedi. So, um, what I know there's others that I can't think of at the moment. Anyway, so that's my point. My point is they're bringing in these characters because we love them. We love them because of their original versions. Yet they're changing everything about them. So why bring them in the new canon if you just want to change it? I mean, if they absolutely have to bring an EU character into the new canon, at least keep the character consistent. Um, at least. So, and if you can't do that, don't bring him in the new canon. It's just that simple. And Quinlan asks favorite EU characters, Anakin Solo.
Me?
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, there's gonna be a basic answer, but I like Django. He's just so freaking
EU
cool.
characters.
He's an EU character, isn't he?
Yeah, but he originated in the movies.
Okay.
Like EU originated characters.
Oh, okay. Well, I gotta think about that. Hold on. Uh, like Bane. Basic answer, but I like him.
Bane.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you mean Darth Bane.
Nah, man. Bane from Batman. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, Cad Bane, bro. Yeah, Darth Bane.
You never
Uh,
know, man. There's so many Banes in this world.
yeah, I mean, I feel like he was so good in those TCW episodes, dude. Like nothing near the books. Like, man, they have Mark Hamill play Darth Bane.
Gosh. As EU fans, what Disney Canada does to our characters shouldn't concern us. Concerns me because I love these characters and I want them to be respected.
I kind of agree with Quinlan. You kind of complain a lot about Disney, dude. It's almost like you like Disney a lot more than the EU. I mean, you are reading the High Republic after all.
It's the only thing I've read out of the new stuff.
I'm messing with you, Lance.
It makes me angry they ruined them for new. Exactly. That's one of the reasons why I don't like it. Plus, when you start having authors like John Ostrander getting mad about it, I think we have a right to complain.
Ostrander? He got mad at that?
He got mad, not at that, but he got mad at Quinlan Voss in Dark Disciple. Made a post about it.
Oh, yeah? What'd he say?
Yeah. Those aren't our characters anymore. I don't know, man. We made those characters popular, so were they really ever ours? Hello, the Revanchist.
Marcel, get in here, dude.
I love how after Marcel's video about how to pronounce the Revanchist, I now have completely changed how I think of that word. Now, to me, whenever I read that word, I read revanchist, not revanchist or whatever I thought it was.
You can say Revon Chast. You can say that.
Okay,
Mr. Revon Chast.
There's an I in it, not an A.
No, it's like a silent I. Like you're supposed to pronounce it as like an A. That's like Marcel's like that'd be like his glup shitto name, Revon Chast.
Raven Christ? Sounds like a weird cult.
Hey, Brandon, get in here. Brandy, get in here.
Am I the only one that thinks that sounds like a weird cult? Or Raven Christ?
No, Raven Christ.
Like
when the bro actually rises, it's just him flying.
Sounds like a Mormon cult. Oh, I don't hate Mormons. I'm just kidding. Totally.
I knew this hot chick in high school, man. She was Mormon. And I was like, damn, man, like she's so hot, and she was dating this dude, and then I found out later that she cheated on him, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I didn't date her, you know?
Wait, a Mormon cheated on someone? That's funny. Kind of ironic. Yeah, Quinlan, everyone's invited. If you are in the Jedi Knight channel on Discord, you're invited.
You know what? I take that back. Actually, don't join, Brendan.
Yeah, I will be in the stream in like 20 minutes. So I only want to stream for an hour. So 20 minutes.
So, what's been your favorite EU book so far?
Vector Prime. You should know this by now.
Yeah, but like I needed to ask you since you just read Outbound Flight.
It's Vector Prime. So Outbound Flight was great, but Vector Prime.
So I I have this book I want to get, and it has to do with Star Wars. It's written by a guy called John David Ebert, and he breaks down A New Hope from like what it's trying to do on like I think on a philosophical, on a metatextual, and on a metaphorical level of what George is trying to do in that movie. I've only heard him talk about it a little bit, and it was really interesting to me. So I'm plugging that for him. I'm gonna go check it out soon. Possibly the greatest Star Wars book ever written. Beats the EU. I really want to get the making of Star Wars books. I heard the Empire one I want to get specifically because that's the book that George had the least to do with, or the movie he had the least to do with. So I want to see the production behind that and see what it talks about.
Did you just see what he asked?
Have you read NJO?
Gosh.
You deserve every bit of it, Lance.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do, Quinlan. Oh, you're asking how? Because I just enjoyed it more. I love all those books too. Don't get me wrong, I love those books, but
You should
I
probably
enjoyed
say
it.
Traitor because even Marcel has said to me that's like the one Star Wars book. That and the Plagueis are the only Star Wars books that come close to high literature. That's what Marcel
Yeah,
told me.
Trader's great. Trader's amazing. It's one of the best books in the EU, but and I do see why people love it as much as they do. Consider it like a holy grail of the EU it is. But I just enjoy Vector Prime more. I really liked it. It was
I'm
the
waiting
fastest
for.
book I ever read. That tells you how much I enjoyed it.
I'm kind of waiting on YJK audiobooks to make more Bantam era audiobooks so I can experience those. Because I have like all of NJO downloaded to my computer, audiobook wise, so I can just listen to that. Maybe they, hey, no, I mean, I could talk to Brennan about that question later. Because I want to get into NJO because nobody like shuts up about it. But I feel like I won't have a lot of context for it.
Look, here's what I think you should read in order to get most context, most of the context. Because yeah, I mean, I don't really agree with Matt. I don't think you have to read every book in the Bantam era, but I do think that there's some key ones like the Thrawn Trilogy, obviously, Jedi Academy Trilogy, maybe Hand of Thrawn. You can throw that in there if you want. Um, and then these aren't Bantam books, but Young Jedi Knights and Junior Jedi Knights. I think those are pretty essential too.
Yeah, they're making they've made all of those audiobooks, I think. So I can listen to those. I was actually listening to the first Young Jedi Knights one. Or is it Young Jedi Knights one? And it was talking about how Jaina is like really tech savvy. And then like Jason, he loves like biological life forms more. And that's like their specialties. And so um, they were like getting ready to go to Luke's teachings, and then there's this kid who never stops asking questions during Luke's teaching part, like when he's giving, when he's in class, and even Luke has to test his patience around this kid. Like even Luke's like, "Oh, come on, man! Like shut up, man." And then there's that woman that was climbing up the side of the Yavin base temple part, and she was climbing up it, and then everybody's like, "Oh man, what was her name again?" She was redheaded.
Tenno Ka?
Yeah. Okay. How do you pronounce that?
Tenno Ka.
Tenno Ka.
Yes.
Lance could not be more interested in what I'm saying.
No, I am interested. I'm just reading chat too.
You looking at your texts.
No, I'm literally not. But
Your girl's being like, "Hey, man, stop talking
hey,
about Star Wars stuff."
have you read you've read Courtship Princess Leia, right? I hope so.
No, no, I mean, no,
Oh
no.
gosh, read the EU, bro.
Read the EU. Well, why do I do? I'm reading high literature right now. I'm reading Moby Dick and some Hemingway, dude.
You're reading Moby Dick. Good luck with that. The book
well,
sucks.
well,
That book's
no, it
terrible.
does. Take that back. What the heck?
No,
No, it was
that
a
book is
great book.
freaking horrible.
How's it horrible?
I tried to read that for school. It was so bad, and my teacher understood it. She let me change books.
Well, no, no, no,
The
no.
book was
What was bad
terrible.
about it? What was bad about it?
Dude, it's a freaking 400-page monstrosity about whales.
No, 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 no. That's not true. That's not true.
Okay, whatever. I don't care. That book sucked. It was
No, no,
terrible.
no. Hold on. That's it. The plot is bare bones and simple. It's about a whaling voyage, right? But it's
I
not
know what it's
really
about.
about
It's
a whaling
terrible.
voyage. What it's about is about the search for meaning. It's about
Did
Ishmael
you just call
trying to
yourself a
find his meaning in
whale?
Huh?
Did you just call
Yeah,
yourself a whale?
yeah, man.
Oh,
Definitely.
Slav is a whale.
I mean, I'm fat enough to be a whale, but I mean, in the sense that like Ahab, I can't really explain it on the stream. I'll explain it to you later. But it really is so far a magnificent book.
Okay,
I'm like
whatever you
1/4
said.
through it.
It was terrible.
What did you like about it?
Nothing. I didn't even finish it. I got like 30 pages in and just hate. I just
Well, that's
wanted
your
to.
problem. You only got 30 pages in, dude.
That's how bad it was, and I wanted to crucify myself after those 30 pages.
You're not giving me any specifics here. Anyway, this is a Star Wars stream. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get into this.
You should take Moby Dick and shove it.
That's a very Christ-like thing to say, Lance.
I don't care at this point. That book sucks.
The
And to make
wording
it
in
weird,
the
my copy had pictures in it, so it was like double the length. It was like 800 pages.
I
My
wish I had
teacher,
a copy. I
my
wish the
teacher,
copy I was reading had pictures.
my teacher. Let me talk. My
Okay.
teacher, she came to my table to ask how far I was in the book, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 30 pages in. I have like 800 left." She started dying. Yeah, it's terrible. Now I'm reading Animal Farm. I
That's
don't
an
know if
okay book.
I like it so far. I only like it because, I mean, a bunch of animals killing humans. That sounds like fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a pig in it named Napoleon. I mean, that's great stuff right there.
Let me read you a passage real quick, Lance.
If it's
Can I
from
read you?
Moby Dick, I'm gonna kick you out of the stream.
Well, it's a good passage, though.
I don't care. I don't want to read it. I don't want to hear it. Don't want to listen to it. Don't care about it.
You seem scared, Lance.
Scared of what? A bad
Scared that I
book?
might convince you of something. That maybe it's more than you thought it was.
It's literally about catching. It's about catching you, per your words.
Nah, man. It's more than that.
I
It's about
don't.
finding meaning.
I
It's
don't
about
want.
finding companionship in the unknown.
Oh my gosh. I'm not listening. Anyway, moving the topic. The best book that I read in high school was Frankenstein. I love that book.
I've not read Frankenstein yet. Mary Shelley's good, though, from what I
Pretty
hear.
good.
I heard her poetry's pretty good.
You like poetry? Poetry?
I like some poetry. You do too. You just don't realize it.
I like the Bible. That has a lot of poetry in it.
It's very poetic.
It's very, especially the Book of Revelation. No, Revelation's not poetic. It's symbolic. I think you'd enjoy reading the Bible, even if you're not going to read it, for religious reasons. If you read it for like academic reasons, I think you'd find a lot in it.
No, I plan on it. I got the King Jimmy over there. I'm gonna read it soon.
You could have picked. You couldn't have picked a worse book, a worse
But
version.
that's the version. But that's the version that's more relevant to our culture, though, Lance. See, most of our culture, that's what they read for so many years. It's baked into most of how like our language is without you even realizing it. It's baked into a bunch of literature as well. The symbolism and meaning. Plus, the prose are just better. They're the best version of the prose, which that's the whole reason I would read it was for literature reasons.
I would read it for, well, religious reasons. You're not going to do that, but if you want to like study it like on a scholarly level, do not study the King James version. That's based off the manuscript called Textus Receptus,
Mm-hmm.
which is just one of the worst. There's so many translation errors with that manuscript. It's laughable. It's horrible.
Well, what does it
Translation.
really matter though, dude? Because that's most of what culture had for the
Okay,
longest
but
time.
I'm not talking about culture. I'm not talking about literature reasons. I'm talking about scholarly reasons.
You mean for religious reasons?
No, you can study the Bible on a scholarly level without being religious. You don't need atheist Bible
No,
scholarship.
no, no, no. I know that, Lance. But it sounds like you're coming at it more from a
I'm
you're
not.
wanting to study the Bible from many different translations at that point. If you're going to study it that way, is that what you
No,
mean?
but I do think that there are better. Like the Codex Vaticanus is a lot better.
I mean, if I were really wanting to read the King James Bible and that were sorry, if I was wanting to read the Bible in general, I'd probably just read the Message by Eugene Peterson.
I mean, I'm not saying like if you read the KJV, you're like a horrible person. I'm not saying that, but
Well, I'm saying if you don't read that version, you're a terrible person. What do you think about that, Lance?
I don't care what you have to say. You don't even believe in the Bible, so why would I care?
What? What? Well, first of all, I was joking there, Lance. But two, what do you mean I don't like the Bible?
I said you don't believe in it. I didn't say you don't like it.
What do you mean by believing?
Like believe in what it's saying. Like believing
No, I
in.
believe in what it's saying.
Okay, so do you believe Jesus rose from the dead?
Well, not literally, if that's what you mean. I don't think that happened
You
literally.
think he figuratively rose from the dead?
Yeah, I think a lot of what the Bible was supposed to be how I personally view it as. It was a story, well, they're a collection of stories that are much older than most people probably believe, and they were on basically how people they would tell these stories to their children and to their communities as a way on how to live your life. They were supposed to be metaphorical in that sense, but I think that it was then turned into a religion, which I'm not. Which I mean, hey, that's fine if you're going to base your religion off something. That's a good thing to base it off of.
Well, literally speaking, the resurrection was a very real thing. In terms, not I say literally, I say in terms of on a biblical level. It was in the Bible. It's a literal event. It's not like the Book of Genesis where you can take that and figuratively. That's how I take Genesis, but or at least
Mhm.
a lot of parts of Genesis. And
Yeah.
I think Abraham. I know scholars have kind of denoted that Abraham and Moses were more mythical figures,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I think Moses is just so historically important. It's like there had to have been a Moses-like figure.
Well, there was in real life. They do believe there was a prophet that Jesus is based on. So, I mean, in that sense,
Based
yeah,
on
Jesus was probably a real person.
Jesus was a very real person.
Hmm.
The historian Josephus, who was a Jewish historian, he in like the first couple centuries, like the first century I should say, he wrote about Jesus.
When did
So
he write about Jesus?
like around I think 40 or 50 AD. So
So it
just
was
a
40
couple
years after.
no, it would be more like a decade after his death.
It was a decade after his death.
Yes, and that's even before most of the New Testament was written. And people were writing about a man named Jesus and his crucifixion.
Okay.
I mean, the Bible does say Jesus was well known throughout Judea. I
Hmm.
mean, Josephus, you can look that name up. I mean, that's kind of well known. But
Hmm.
Josephus, I mean, that's an example. He was writing
Hmm.
about Jesus because he was well known throughout Judea.
Hmm.
Now they're talking about denominations. Um, I'm non-denominational too, bro. I'm pre-denom. How about this? I'm pre-denominational. They have, though, undoubtedly muddied the. You know, Quinlan, with all due respect, non-denominationalism is a denomination. It is. Bam.
Hey, hey, Lance.
Hey, what?
Lance, if
What?
name a hey, come on, don't talk to me that way.
What you gonna do about it?
Oh no, I wasn't like a demand. It was like, oh, come on, don't do that, man.
Just say what you're gonna say.
Hey, if name a book in the EU I gotta read, and if I do it, I'll name you a short book you can read.
You may name me an EU book, just any
Yeah,
that you may not have read.
any EU book, name it. That's not
Revan.
New Jedi Order. That's nothing post. Okay,
Revan.
okay. Anything post Bantam era, like don't recommend that because that basically means I have to read the whole damn series. But like it can be in the Bantam era and back.
Revan.
Read Revan.
Yes. Well, play KOTOR 1 and 2, then read Revan.
Oh shit! I played 1. Do I have to play 2? He's not even in 2.
I would recommend it, but like you don't have to. But look, see, Revan is divided up to 2 parts. The first part is shortly after KOTOR, and the second
Mm-hmm.
part is shortly after KOTOR 2. Well, kind of short. Well, yeah, shortly after KOTOR 2. So I
Because I
would say
know,
read
I,
it, but
I
you don't have to.
know, I know the basic gist of KOTOR 2. I just know at the end they blow up that Sith temple, and then that's kind of it, right? No, that's the first one. No, I
Hey,
know they
wait,
blow
wait.
up.
Let me blow Quinlan's mind a little bit here. Uh, Book of James, religion, and Jesus never condemned religion. He created a religion called Judaism. James 1:27. I'm gonna share my screen for this. I'm gonna blow his mind. Not only is religion talked about here, um, it's approved by James. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this. And then he mentions basically the message of Jesus to look after orphans and widows in their distress and keep oneself from being polluted by the world. Yeah. So religion is talked about in the Bible, and it is very much approved. Plus, Jesus, if you believe in the Trinity, he is Yahweh, meaning he created Judaism. He gave Moses the Ten Commandments. That's a religion, along with all the laws and customs that are mentioned in Leviticus. God gives them to Moses. God being Yahweh, Jesus being Yahweh, before Abraham was, I am. So he's not condemning it. How can he condemn something he created? He created a religion called Judaism.
All right. Let's not get too focused on the Star Wars stream, though.
Yes, he says the religion that God accepts, the purpose of that religion is to look after the widow and the orphan. That is the purpose of religion. Religion, and then he mentions before that religion that is pure and undefiled, that God accepts. And even then, Jesus didn't write the book of James. James did. Book of James is an epistle by James. Exactly. And you can do that through religion. This idea that religion, I'm sorry to go on a tangent here, but this idea that religion is not good is a leftist idea. It's a very leftist because leftism hates God. Exactly. And nowhere does Jesus ever condemn religion, ever. In fact, let me show you a verse. what Jesus has to say about the Pharisees. And I always forget the verses, but I know he says it. He condemned the Pharisees, but he also says to follow the Pharisees when talking to his disciples. Matthew 23:2. Why did he say that? Because they're on the seat of Moses. Let me find the verse here. I think it's Matthew 23:3. He says that they sit in the chair of Moses, so you must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. Jesus never condemned religion. He was all about practicing what you preach. Exactly. Yeah, but typically, I hope you realize, Quinlan, that the very idea of worshiping God is religion. That's the very definition of it. It doesn't. It does mean that, but again, religion that is accepted by God with the intentions of being kind and pure. That's the kind of religion God accepts, which can be made manifest through the type of religion that you're talking about. I know you're not. That's why I'm saying that. The idea that religion is bad or that it's not compatible with Christianity, even though Christianity is a religion, it's descended from our religion, is a leftist idea. So he's condemning Judaism? James, a Jew? James was a Jew. And let's not forget, Jesus was a religious Jew. He followed all of the commandments and followed all the customs. Celebrated Passover, celebrated Hanukkah. He celebrated all the Jewish feasts and festivals and customs that are done. He did it. So you're kind of saying my point. There's religion that God accepts, and then there's religion that God condemns, which I would agree with. But saying religion as a concept he condemns is ridiculous. Like what? He undermined the interpretation of the Pharisees, but he never undermined what the religion actually said. No, he didn't. When he performed miracles on the Sabbath, he was breaking the beliefs of the Pharisees. He was not breaking his own law that he created. Why would he create these laws and then break them? Why would he do that? And if he allowed work on the Sabbath, and if he worked on the Sabbath himself, Jesus is a liar. He never worked on the Sabbath. Exactly. But not the religious practice, the interpretation of the Pharisees. He never condemned them for their religion because he created the religion. They had corrupted it. Exactly. But Jesus himself never allowed to work on the Sabbath. He himself performed miracles on the Sabbath. Yes, but he never, ever broke Sabbath. He never broke it. I do agree. The Pharisees corrupted the religion of Judaism, but Judaism, according to you, is not right because it's quote unquote religion. It's religious. There's religious customs and traditions and everything else that is ingrained in that religion. Which again, Jesus, as Yahweh incarnate, created. He condemned religious, he did condemn religions, He condemned paganism, the pre-Judaism religion, which was Yahwism. He condemned that. But he never condemned religion as a concept. Because he is the author of religion. Well, I should say he's the author of the first true religion, which is Judaism. I agree. But the argument is that you said religion in general is not good, and that Christianity isn't a religion when it very well is. Read the early church fathers and read what they were doing. Well, considering you said that it was something Jesus said, I wasn't thinking you were quoting from James, because Jesus didn't write James. James did. So that's why I didn't think. That's why I was going to blow your mind. So I thought you were talking about someone else, but I guess I was wrong. Exactly. Religion based on kindness. That is the religion God accepts. Therefore, religion is not bad. James did write it, but you said Jesus condemned religion. And then I showed you that verse from James, and then you said that was the verse you're talking about. Yes, it's inspired by God. That does not mean Jesus wrote James. James did by the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, who is not Jesus. Correct. But exactly, I agree. It'd be more proper to say the Holy Spirit, though. It's more so the Holy Spirit, who is not Jesus, who is not God the Father. The Holy Spirit is the Holy Spirit, who is God. Sorry, Slav. Correct. Now, Brennan, you're changing it. You're changing what we were originally talking about religion in general. Now it's God condemns certain religions. Obviously, he does that. He did it in John 14:6. I'm the way, truth, and the life. But that's not. You're changing what we're saying. They have the same essence, not the same person. They are all three different people, distinct individuals, but they are the same essence. I'm not saying you were wrong, by the way. I was just clarifying something. You're more than welcome to come and chat, Quinlan, if you want to talk more about it, or in a stream. Yes, God. I'm gonna end this. We're gonna move on. God condemns certain religions. Absolutely, he does, but he doesn't condemn religion as a concept. Because again, he created a religion called Judaism. Anyway, moving on. He also created Christianity. Let's not forget that. Slav, how are you at Bounty Hunter? Or where are you at? Have you won the game? I guess he's gone. Not really. There's a difference between saying God condemns certain religions and then saying God condemns religion.
Hey, can you hear me?
As a concept. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, all right. I'm on the second Malastar level. I'm going with Zam. Me and her are like shooting a bunch of Dougs. Oh, I just found a place I've never been before. Let's see. There's some posters hanging on the wall. Let's see what they are. Oh my God, Sebulba.
Well, I think I'm gonna end the stream because I said I was gonna end it at an hour. It's been 9 minutes, almost 10. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it. And earlier,
What? I guess he ended it.
oh Lord, I didn't mean for that. I don't know where Slav went, but anyway, I'm ending the stream. I accidentally backed myself out. I didn't mean to do that. But earlier, Scott and Marcel were saying that we should make a like a little book club. That'd be cool. Be nice. Be interesting. So I'd be more willing to do that. Anyway, I'm off. Good night, guys. I'm hungry too. I need to go eat. So bye bye. Long live the EU. And no, I'm not giving out free Thrawn books.